right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A baby dies at an in-home daycare. Why police say it should have never been open in the first place.
The heat is here to stay. The humidity increases even more tomorrow. Plus, I'll time out when we'll see a line of showers and storms.
The family of a school shooter said they made many calls for help.
Officers did not have any lawful authority to seize or take any firearms.
Now we're getting a look at body camera video of a call to the gunman's home just days before the deadly CVPA shooting. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Orlando Harris was 19 years old when he opened fire at CVPA in October 2022. Tonight we have new information about the day that a student and teacher were killed and many others were injured. Brent Solomon joins us from the newsroom. Brent?
Well, Mike, the video you're about to see shows police responding to the shooter's home days before he carried out the deadly attack at CVPA. His own worried family made the call. A Missouri lawmaker says if the state had what's known as a red flag law, police could have intervened right then and there and confiscated his gun.
The front door, I guess the side door is like the back.
On October 15th, 2022, St. Louis police body camera video shows officers arriving at the home of 19-year-old Orlando Harris. His own mother worried he had just bought a rifle.
Depression, he tried to commit suicide 3 times.
When's he on medication?
He was taking medication, but I don't know if he stopped taking the medication.
Officers chat with Harris, who made it clear he had just spent money to get the gun he wanted.
You know,
I spent my money, man.
Hold on.
In the end, officers have no choice but to leave.
You want to own a firearm, you're an American, you're over 18, you're allowed to have a firearm if you want a firearm.
9 days later, the former Central Visual and Performing Arts high student showed up to the school, shooting and killing a classmate and a teacher. 4 others were hurt. Shortly after the tragedy, our political editor Mark Maxwell questioned the governor about the state's lack of a red flag law. That's a measure that Illinois has in place, giving police the means to confiscate a gun if someone shows signs of being a threat to themselves or to others.
All the red flags were there. Why weren't the red flag laws?
I mean, the red flag laws have never been in place in Missouri. You know, you're still talking about somebody with a mental illness that went into it and committed a criminal act.
You can empathize with the mother who is saying that something's going on. She's pointing out the vest.
Senator Carla May tried to get a red flag law passed this session. She says her counterparts didn't give it a chance.
But I think it's our responsibility as lawmakers to give police the tools they need to do their job. But we also failed that mother and also the families that had to go through the tragedy of this shooting.
The shooter first tried to buy a gun from a dealer in St. Charles, but an FBI background check blocked it. He then went to a private seller. As of now, only certain people in Missouri can have their gun confiscated. Convicted felons, habitual drug users, or those who are actually deemed mentally incompetent through the courts.
Gunfire erupted in the small town of Lost Nation, Illinois this morning, leaving 3 law enforcement officers wounded and a community in shock. Lost Nation is in Ogle County in northern Illinois. Police were responding to a call saying there was someone threatening to kill himself and others at a home there. We're told they tried to make contact, placing more than 50 calls to a person inside the home. Then when police tried to enter the home, the suspect opened fire on them. 3 officers were struck. The suspect was also hit by gunfire. All of them were transported to a local hospital.
It's odd because the area is safe. We've never had anything like this happen before. We've been here quite a few years, and it's just odd to come home and here's the lockdown, police officers.
The conditions of the officers and the suspect in the shooting, they have not been released. The Illinois State Police has been put in charge of the investigation. Tonight, a man in St. Charles County is charged with murder in the death of an on-again, off-again boyfriend of a woman he had just started dating. Police say Carlos Hood shot and killed Leon Anderson around 10:30 last night in Wentzville. A woman told police she was in the home with Hood when Anderson broke in. She and Anderson started to argue. That's when Hood grabbed a gun and shot and killed Anderson. Hood then took off He was caught a short time later. Today, police arrested a St. Louis County woman for the death of a baby they say died months ago at her unlicensed home daycare in Florissant. Tonight, the suspect sits in the county jail in Clayton, and that's where we find our Robert Townsend. Robert.
Mike, Judy Fields is the suspect's name. She's charged with endangering the welfare of a child at her home daycare. Prosecutors tell me that daycare should have never been open. In February, it was a startling scene for people in this Florissant neighborhood to see.
I remember chaos, a bunch of screaming.
And a bunch of police cars, and they were out front pointing to the house.
Police and paramedics rushed to Judy Fields' home daycare on DeBerg Lane after getting an emergency call that a 4-month-old baby was unresponsive.
She met the paramedics at the door, and then she came out screaming and stuff. She was actually holding the baby.
Neighbor Ramona Butler says the baby's frantic parents then arrived.
Parents screaming and crying, and I remember her being really scared. And it was crazy.
Paramedics rushed the infant to Christian Northwest Hospital, where he later died. The medical examiner says the baby suffocated due to the way he was positioned.
That's what I heard her saying, that she had him in a swing. She came back to check on him, and he wasn't breathing.
Investigators say Fields did not live here, but rented the house and was watching 16 children by herself and operating a daycare illegally without a state license. By law, Fields should not have had more than 10 children under 13 years old.
It was very heartbreaking because I didn't know that she wasn't licensed and my daughter was due to go to her daycare. She charged $75 a week for one kid.
Fields is charged with endangering the welfare of a child resulting in death. In a statement, County Prosecutor Wesley Bell said it is of the utmost importance for parents to do their due diligence regarding child care providers and do our best to ensure that tragedies like this never happen.
Shocked and heartbroken. Yeah, just so young.
I think about it a lot, and my condolences to them because it's sad.
Tonight, Fields is locked up in jail on a $100,000 cash-only bond. Live in Clayton, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Well, today really felt like summer in the St. Louis area, hot and humid, and those days are going to continue. Meteorologist Jim Castillo joins me now with how hot it's going to get in the coming days.
Yeah, Mike, 91 today, and it looks like for weeks this 90-plus weather is going to stay with us. So we'll have a couple of fronts come in, one with a chance of storms tomorrow night, but really this heat isn't going to break. So the Cardinals play tomorrow. Look at the heat index at 4 p.m. So at the end of the game, because it's a day game, we're talking 98 in St. Louis at 4 o'clock, Shiloh 96, the way it feels, and 99 in Chesterfield. The actual temperature will be well into the 90s. 82 right now, south wind at about 8, and that low tonight, just about 70 in St. Louis, 60s outside of the city, and the south wind picks up a little bit tonight. There's a heat advisory for Kansas City to Wichita tomorrow, 1 to 8 p.m. We're also watching storms to the north that may drift our way tomorrow night. I'll have a little bit more on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Jim. Last month, we told you about the Missouri State Auditor's failed efforts to get in touch with former St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. That's because he's finalizing a report looking into the prosecutor's office when she was in charge. Today, Kim Gardner finally met with the Missouri State Auditor. Scott Fitzpatrick's office confirms the meeting did happen. They did not disclose what they discussed. The Missouri's Auditor's Office has been investigating Gardner since 2021. She resigned last year. Congresswoman Cori Bush shared an update with new numbers she says proves she brought back big gains to St. Louis. This just days after we questioned her claim that she delivered $2 billion to the area. Bush's revised claim altered the initial number she gave to 5 on Your Side. In May, the Congresswoman appeared to admit that some funds are general funds that everyone gets, a distinction made by 5 on Your Side's Mark Maxwell.
People assume that some of these funds just automatically come because you are a congressional district. They do not. We have to fight for some of these dollars, for a lot of these dollars. For millions of these dollars, we have to actually fight. And for our office, it's been tens of millions of dollars that we fought for that was not just given to our district.
But some of the billboards claiming she brought back $2 billion came down after our story ran. When asked to explain why, the campaign did not respond. Tonight, residents in North St. Louis County got to hear from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers about their efforts to clean up radioactive waste, including their most recent cleanup at Jana Elementary. Our Laura Barczewski talked with elected officials and affected families at tonight's meeting.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been working to clean up radioactive waste in several areas of St. Louis City and County. It's a product of St. Louis's role in building atomic weapons. Colonel Andy Paneer says over the last few years, they've received millions of dollars in additional funding, allowing them to do more.
We've been able to increase the size of our lab facility. We've been able to bring more contractors on site. And that allows us to do what we're going to see here, which is simultaneous operations today, so we can have multiple projects going on at one time.
Recently, Paneer says they've been able to remove 850,000 cubic yards of waste from areas like under the McDonald Bridge, which will also be rebuilt. Right next to it, work is being done on what used to be the ball fields. This is all across from the St. Louis Airport site. Running right near these sites and all through North St. Louis County is Coldwater Creek, which is one of the biggest issues to tackle. These families are still suffering from cancers and illnesses caused by radioactive waste.
I have over 30 now illnesses, from a brain tumor to lesions on my spleen and liver and kidney. I've lost 5 children.
My husband Jim lives on blood transfusions now. He is dying slowly of 4 different cancers related to being exposed to the creek.
The families and even local officials who've been affected by radioactive waste have major concerns about these signs the Army Corps of Engineers wants to put up all along Coldwater Creek, saying they don't signal the true danger of what was left behind decades ago.
What do you think would be better to warn people that there's a danger? This or that simple t-shirt?
The government has known, and we are asking for the government to step up and make right the damage that has been going on for decades.
Reporting in Florissant, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Next steps for the area, the Army Corps says they will focus on cleanup in the Cades Cove neighborhood in Florissant. And advocates from North County were back in Washington, D.C. today. Just Moms STL was campaigning for compensation for victims of radioactive waste. They were hoping to get a meeting with House Speaker Mike Johnson today. Senator Josh Hawley joined the advocates, criticizing the Speaker for not taking the meeting. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, also called RECA, expired last week. Advocates like Just Moms STL are hoping the House will prioritize a version of RECA that would provide compensation for affected people in our area.
An accident causes mail to be rerouted.
It is in fact closed because of a mercury spill.
How long it will take crews to clean it up.
Boy, that heat really ramped up today. Then the humidity is even higher for tomorrow. Plus, I'll time out when we could see this line of showers and storms.
She's one of the youngest athletes on Team USA, and it's only fueling her fight.
How much do you want it?
The focused fencer eager to win gold in Paris.
Right now, a post office in Town and Country remains closed. On Monday, officials shuttered the building due to what they originally said was suspected environmental concerns. We now know it has been closed for more than a week due to a mercury spill. Town and Country police tell us no one was harmed as a result of the spill. Congresswoman Ann Wagner's office tells 5 on your side hazmat crews are working to clean it up.
Liquid mercury, we know it is usually little balls or pieces and such, but apparently it will evaporate when the temperature rises and into an odorless toxic gas that can permeate everything.
So mail is being moved to the Baldwin office, and P.O. Box customers can go to the Chesterfield location on Ridge Road. The latest economic numbers show that inflation is easing. Prices rose just 3.3% in May compared to the same time last year, a positive sign that inflation is cooling. This comes as the Federal Reserve unveils its latest decision on what to do with key interest rates. The inflation rate is still ahead of the Federal Reserve's target rate of 2%, but we could still see the Fed start cutting rates later this fall. One of the youngest athletes representing Team USA will try to bring home gold in fencing. The sport has been in her blood since she was young, and she learned along the way from arguably the greatest U.S. fencer of all time. Devin Haskins has her story.
Fencing runs in the Skarbonkiewicz family.
I started when I was around 6 years old. My dad got me into it.
Magna Skarbankovic's dad, Adam, was her first coach. He missed out on the 1996 Olympics because he didn't have a green card. But now his daughter will be making her Olympic debut in Paris at the age of 18.
It's still fun. There's definitely a lot more emotions and high stakes now.
She also learned along the way from two-time gold medalist Marielle Zagunis.
She took practice so seriously. It was amazing. And just watching that, it's like, hey, I want to grow up and I want to be able to, like, you know, put my mind to something like she did and, you know, accomplish, like, things like she did.
And she's already accomplished so much with the mentality to come out on top.
Fight as hard as you can. It's 5 minutes of fencing, so, you know, how much do you want it is a big mental thing for me. I always want to win.
Magda's other passion is art.
It's not something you can really compete in, which is nice because mentally I'm like, I always want to, like, be the best.
She features much of her artwork on Instagram.
Like, I like making 2 different styles in a painting. Like, I'll do a face and then out of their mind is like something they're thinking. And yeah, a lot of sketching.
But right now her focus is on the Olympics. And she knows what it feels like to be on the medal podium representing Team USA and her family.
I'm really standing on the podium looking up at the flag, and it's just I couldn't stop smiling because it's like, wow, I did it. My dad came here looking for, you know, all his goals and dreams. He said he could accomplish anything here, it could be anything here, and I get to, you know, follow those footsteps.
When Magna gets back from the Olympics, she'll be attending the University of Notre Dame. The opening ceremony is right here on 5 on Your Side on July 26th. For the latest Olympics news, just text the word Paris to 314-425-5355. Meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us once again with that weather first forecast, and it sounds like this heat's going to be around for a while, Jim.
Yeah, you know, I see it lasting weeks on end. We don't see a real break. Yeah, we don't even see 80s in that extended forecast unless we get lucky here. But even today, just like we thought, 91 and 85 is the average. And so the low has been near 70. We're going to do that again tonight. Record high, you're wondering, 98, set back in 1952. There is a front to the north. This really isn't going to change that temperature on Friday at all, but we do have a chance of showers and storms with this late tomorrow evening, and it's going to be hot and humid before that, 96 for that high. So you get a little bit of that front, some convergence going on, some lift, and some showers and storms are going to be popping in here. The issue with this is, will they be severe or not when they move into our area? It does look like this line will be weakening as it moves in late evening. Here's 11 p.m. as it approaches the metro. So it's already in our northern counties at this point. And the biggest threats will be hail and high wind with this. And then it looks like that front's going to be pushing through here and that activity starting to weaken at about 2 a.m. in the morning. But we'll keep our eyes on this and update it for you tomorrow morning. Anthony will have full coverage tomorrow morning. But here is the current thinking on the timing. If we do get that storm activity that is severe, 10 o'clock till about 3 a.m. across the area, 60-mile-per-hour wind and large hail, the biggest threats there. And you can see here the larger threat of severe weather is north in this orange area, level 3 out of 5. We are in 2 in our northern counties and level 1 right through St. Louis, and our southern counties isn't even in that risk area. So the 60-mile-per-hour winds and that quarter-size hail and very low risk of a spin-up tornado. Other than that, it's hot, it's humid. Heat advisory, Wichita to Kansas City tomorrow. That's the first of the year. And then I wanted to show you this. Look at Miami. Just a flash flood emergency today. And that's one of the most severe flood emergencies that you could have, or warnings. And that rain continues for them all the way through this upcoming weekend. So the flooding has been catastrophic. All right, 10-day forecast showing 96 for Thursday, 91 for Friday, 94 Saturday. And over the weekend, Mike, boy, 99 Sunday, and it's humid on top of that.
Find a cool spot.
Yeah.
Jim, thanks. Corey is in for Frank, and he's here with what's next in sports.
Well, it was another lights-out pitching performance at Busch Stadium, and we're reminiscing with the one and only Layla Anderson on the 5th anniversary of the Blues Stanley Cup Championship. Sports is coming up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Last night's pitching duel at Busch Stadium was fun and all, but it didn't get the Cardinals in the win column, and that's really all that matters. Tonight they had the chance to get back on track against the Pirates, and they had the right man on the mound to do it. When in doubt, turn to Sonny Gray. That's usually a pretty good bet. Trouble in the first, though. First two batters get to second and third, but Sonny strikes out the side to end the threat. Now the offense. Nolan Arenado stays hot. This one sneaks just past Brian Reynolds, who does a nice belly flop out and left. Goldie trucks all the way home from first. 1-0 Cards. Love to see this. Dylan Carlson rips one. Pirates can't handle it. Herrera scores 2-0 Cardinals. 3-1 Cards in the fifth. Back to Gray. See ya, Andrew McCutchen. You swung. Cardinals will get some extra insurance on this single from Brendan Donovan. But Sonny was the story tonight. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. His ERA is now a sparkling 3.01 on the season. Ryan Helsley gets right back on the horse in the ninth to close it out after yesterday's hiccup, and the Cardinals win 4-2. NBA Finals Game 3, a moment to honor the late Jerry West before Jason Tatum and the Celtics tried to make it a 3-0 series lead. The Chaminade Kid had another big game, 31 for Tatum tonight. And once again, Boston held strong down the stretch. Jaylen Brown, that's a 2 to ice it. Celtics win 106-99, and Jason Tatum is a win away from a sweep and his first NBA championship.
Right after that first goal, I felt, the boys are hyped and they're going to finish it, and they're going to finish it strong.
And finish it strong they did. 5 years ago tonight, the Blues became legends in Boston. The long-awaited first Stanley Cup in franchise history. The little girl you saw there was along for the entire ride, and she's not a little girl anymore. If you can believe it, Layla Anderson is getting ready to get her driver's license. Fighting a rare autoimmune disease, Layla's positive outlook inspired the team and the city during the championship run. I caught up with her this morning for the 5-year anniversary. She is healthy, is a Cup champion in her own right on the ice, and still keeps in touch with Blues defenseman Colton Parayko. And this pair's bond is something special.
I'm like getting chills. I think I'm really just grateful for Colton and everything he's done for me. But I think, I've always been there, or he's always been there for me and supported me through my health. And made a video when I need it, and just always in my corner. And I think being out on the ice and able to celebrate with him during his special moment, I have chills. It was insane.
The Blues celebrated We Went Blues Day today, the honor anniversary. As part of the day, Cup champion Oscar Sundquist showed up at Friends of Kids with Cancer to help present a donation and fill some goodie bags for the kids. Sonny was an integral part of the Cup-winning team, but his favorite memory from the run may surprise you just a bit.
But I think the most memorable thing from that night is landing back in St. Louis, and you walk out that plane, you see all the people around the fenced area. To walk down to that gate and then kind of lift the cup in front of them for the first time was an awesome feeling, and that night is something I'll remember forever.
Big night for pickleball in St. Louis. Our professional team, the St. Louis Shock, hosted a home match against the rival Chicago Slice at the Missouri Pickleball Club. The Shock are currently at the top of the standings in Major League Pickleball, despite having the youngest roster in the league, a fitting team for a pickleball hotbed like St. Louis.
We've got a really, really incredible team. Not only are they very, very good at what they do, but they're very fun to watch, highly energetic, highly enthusiastic, and the results are showing. We're 4-1 right now, and we're 4 points ahead of the #2 spot, so St. Louis can claim fame to the #1 pickleball team in the world.
I know my boss, Frank Cusimano, loves his job,
Yeah.
but if he could pick, he would be a professional pickleball player.
Pickleball over sportscasting, I think. Corey, thanks. Well, it's a movie theater chain known for its creative designs and dine-in experience, and now it has new owners. The company that just bought Alamo Drafthouse. Sony Pictures Entertainment is buying a theater chain. The company announced that they are acquiring Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas. They have 35 locations in the U.S., including one in St. Louis. Local Alamo leaders tell us they are excited about the partnership. Everyone's favorite hip-hop musical about a founding father is coming back to St. Louis. Yes, you can see Hamilton at the Fox Theater from August 28th through September 8th. Tickets are on sale right now, and tickets start at $39. And join 5 on your side as we celebrate LGBTQIA+ Pride. The St. Louis Grand Pride Parade begins at noon Sunday, June 30th at Market and 10th and runs down Market Street past the Pride Fest grounds to 16th Street. If you can't make it downtown, we'll be streaming the parade live on 5+ on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV. And Jim has one final check of this hot weather.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to stay hot. So hot and humid for tomorrow. 96 feels more like 100. And we'll watch that storm chance late tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Anthony will have an update in the morning, and Gary at noon, and I'll be here in the evening.
All right, there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m.